Hi, I'm Scott Curtis, the voice of Buzzy from Epcot's Cranium Command. You've been inside my head, so you probably already know what I think about my pal Buzzy going missing. It's a real shame to lose such a great piece of history from the wonders of life. And if Disney had used a bit of their left brain, he would have been properly archived instead of abandoned for years, opening the doors for a theft like this to happen. But maybe, with your help, we can help find Buzzy and bring him home. So if you know something about his whereabouts, please inform the Disney Company and Orlando law enforcement. I can only imagine how much stress is doing to your adrenal gland. Ah! We just want Buzzy back safe and available for future exhibits and fan events. That's not too much to ask. So I'm Scott Curtis saying that no Cranium Commander should be left behind. Let's bring Buzzy home. So on behalf of Cranium Command, goodbye!
Such smooth transitions this week. So you just saw that commercial. Scott Curtis was nice enough to make that ad for us this week, and Scott is going to appear on the show now. We have Scott calling in. Scott, are you there? Do we have him?
It's on, yeah.
Yeah.
There he is.
Scott, can you hear us?
All right, I'm here.
Scott,
Yeah,
thanks
how
so
you guys
much for
doing?
doing that.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for writing the script and coming up with the idea. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, that's great. So you got in contact with us. Tell us all about why you got in contact with us.
Okay. Well, number one, because I want to find Buzzy. I want to help. I'm all in. So basically, every once in a while, I type in Cranium Command on Google just to kind of see if anything is going on. I know the ride was shut down years ago, but I saw that there were these guys that were like urban exploring. Kind of not necessarily breaking in because I know the door, I'm finding out the door is kind of unlocked. But they were, filming and, Buzz was up there all by himself, which was sad. But for some reason I typed it in about a week ago and there was a gal, her name was Jenny, who was dressed up like Buzzy and did a 45-minute video about how all of this is going down, and I was fascinated. I watched the whole thing, so I immediately wanted to reach out to you guys and see if I could call in and we could raise awareness to help find Buzzy.
I think everyone's very aware at this point.
Yeah, we're excited.
I think people have heard about it, but I think it's really cool that you've come out to get involved in this. But what do you remember about the experience? You were very young at the time when Cranium Command was produced.
Yeah, and I was everyone's aware, but I mean, apparently, being Buzzy himself, I'm not on the email list. So I was a child actor. Some of my credits, I was Candace Cameron's first kiss on Full House. I thought it was DJ's first kiss, but I found out that it was Candace's first kiss. Lucky her. And Christy came out with an ET commercial right when ET was released on VHS, and I was hired to play Elliot on that commercial, which was phenomenal. But we filmed this when I was 12 years old, and we can go into some detail, whatever you guys want to add. But basically, when we were done filming, this thing went out to Florida, and this was pre-internet, which a lot of the kids can't even imagine such a time. But it went out there, and there it went. It was impossible to keep up with it, and just kind of see how it was living or what it was doing, and this whole thing with Buzzy being gone. Is as sad as it is, for me, it's really neat just to kind of see, how much of an effect he had on people. And it means a lot to me, so much so that, I'm reaching out and wanting to find the boy.
Epcot has this ravenous fan base. I mean, all of us who grew up with that park in the 80s, I think love all of it. So anything that was in that park at the time was really special. I think Cranium Command hit with, I know for me especially, just because the cast was really spectacular. I mean, pretty much any famous comedian of the 80s just about is in that show. So you're in there with really an all-star cast.
Yeah, I can't even tell you how exciting it was, when I first got the audition, and I was slowly figuring out, what the scope of this thing was. And to hear that Hans and Franz, who, I was 12 years old, right, when that was right when I started watching Saturday Night Live. And they were huge. So was Bobcat Goldthwait. And, So once I started figuring out, George Wendt from Cheers, once I started figuring out that all these, official comedians were going to be in this thing, I took a step back and went, wow, I think this is going to be something really cool.
Yeah. Any other memories from filming and recording?
Someone had asked how I got the part. It was really interesting since I was also Bobby, and I don't know if that's clear. I was the 12-year-old boy, and everybody that saw the theater was inside of my head, which kind of explains my brain these days, knowing that 1 million people have walked through my skull. When I went on the audition, since Bobby was only going to be seen twice for such a short period of time, the director was more interested in voice and also hand movement, because during the filming, I had a 6-foot-tall man who had a Panavision camera that was strapped to a Steadicam, and the camera had to be over my right shoulder for the entire filming. And so if I had ever bumped the camera with my head or my shoulder, that would have been a complete restart, and that would have been a lot of money and bad news. So the audition with the director was basically him putting the camera over and, can you do all these functions and, walk around and just be kind of coordinated.
Wow. Wow, that's cool. So Scott, tell us any final words you want to, I know obviously the ad, the PSA says it all, but any last words you want to say about, if you say to whoever might have Buzzy out there, or whoever might be able to help find him?
Yeah, well, first I want to give a shout out to Robin Lopez, who brought the clothes back. I know he bought them not knowing that they were stolen, and I think that's so solid that I just want to say thank you to him for doing that. Basically, I just wanted to raise awareness, and anything that I could do to help to try to find Buzzy, count me in. So I wanted to thank you guys for reaching back to me and making this happen.
No, I thought it was a really cool opportunity. I mean, it's not very often we get to talk with people who have been in these attractions, especially attractions that have touched so many people. So we thought it was a wildly cool thing if we could do a PSA with the voice of Buzzy. I mean, it's a really cool opportunity. Thank you so much for being up for it. We really appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. The honor is all mine. And if we do find Buzzy, kind of a thought that I have is I'd love to do a reunion, come out to Epcot, and, I don't know what form that would take, but I think that would be kind of neat to have that reunion of sorts.
Yeah, no, we hopefully we can make that happen. Hopefully he resurfaces wherever he might be.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Scott. Scott Curtis, ladies and gentlemen, the voice of Buzzy and also Bobby in Cranium Command at Epcot. How cool is that? Every once in a while we get these really cool opportunities, right?
Yeah.
All right.